Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the session. So, in the last class, we have seen with the complete concepts of the Ansible. So, in today's class, we are going to do the Ansible project. Last class, I shown you how to set up the front-end application. Like we have taken the source code from GitHub and we deployed into the Apache web server. Okay. So, today I'm gonna show you how to deploy the artifact called var file in our Tomcat server. Okay. So in the meanwhile, please try to see how to set up Tomcat manually. Why? Because today we are going to write the playbook to automate the Tomcat installation for multiple servers. So please check the Tomcat installation in the meanwhile. So I'll try to change this Ansible as T2 medium for today. Instance settings, change instance type. Instead of Microta, I'll go for T2 medium today. Why? Because I want to install Jenkins also here. So in the meanwhile, I'll try to connect to the servers. So you please check the Ansible Tomcat installation process manually. So I'm installing Jenkins in Ansible main node. Let me draw the diagram for you. So guys, already like you know how to install Ansible and how to current worker nodes and how to install Jenkins, everything you know. So setup is already done. Now let's go for the execution part. Okay. For example, let's take it is my GitHub repository. So step number one is developer will be writing the code and this code is going to push to the GitHub. It is my step number one. So already you know how to write the code in local and how to push the code to the GitHub. Already we seen in the class of Git and GitHub, right? So this is the process number one. So developers will be writing the code and this code you are going to push it to GitHub. Okay. So after pushing the code to the GitHub, now if we want to do continuous integration, what tool we are going to use now? Jenkins. So it is my GitHub tool. This is my GitHub. Okay. So once this is done, now I'm gonna create the continuous integration server. What is continuous integration server here? Jenkins. Guys, you can install Jenkins on a separate server or you can install Jenkins on Ansible main node. I'm using Jenkins in my Ansible main node only for simplicity. So it is my Ansible main node, but in the Ansible main node, I am also installing Jenkins. Okay. So here what exactly you are gonna do is you are going to do the continuous integration part. What you are going to do? Continuous integration. Okay. After if you do continuous integration, you are going to generate an artifact. You are going to get what? Var file you are going to get. Now, the var file, whatever you got inside the Ansible server, now you are going to deploy the artifact to the Netflix servers. Which servers? And of course, here you can use the Artifactory service for Nexus, but I am not using it. Why? Because I already know how to install Nexus and how to configure it. But I'm not configuring here anymore. If you want to configure, you can configure, or otherwise you can skip it off. Okay. So I'm having the Nexus Artifactory server as my optional. Okay. It is not mandatory. It's optional. If you want it, you can go and you can put your var file in the Nexus. But again, it's not mandatory. So I'm going to copy it here. So step by step, link by link, I'm connecting each and everything in your diagram here. I'll be going here, right? So whatever the artifact you generate, so this will be copied to where, sir? Nexus. What is Nexus here? Nexus is a Artifactory server. Which server? Artifactory server. Okay. So now here you are going to deploy the application to the worker nodes. How many worker nodes you are having? For worker node 1, worker node 2, and again worker node 3 and worker node 4. So 2 of them are dev and 2 of them are test. Of course, you can take prod and any other servers also, but for your simplicity, I am explaining like this. So this var file you are going to deploy to the worker nodes. But how exactly you are going to deploy means you are going to write the playbook for it. I mean, like you are going to write the pipeline. From the pipeline, you are going to take the playbook itself. So this is what I can call as pipeline. What I can call as, so the entire deployment process, whatever you are going to do from the Jenkins server to worker nodes, here we are going to run the pipeline itself. Which one? Pipeline. Sir, how exactly this pipeline is going to trigger means, let me explain the step-by-step process. In the pipeline itself, if you see in the pipeline itself, what is the stage number 1? Code, correct or not, sir? Wait, let me make it very big. Go and take it. Go and see. So this is what I can call as my pipeline. What do I call it as? Pipeline. So in this pipeline, now I'm going to write step by step. What is the step number 1 in the pipeline? Taking the code. After code, you are going to do build. Let me increase some font size for you. Code. Next, after code, you are going to do build. After build, test. After test, artifact. Okay. After artifact, now you are going to upload it to the Nexus. From the Nexus, you are going to deploy. So these are the stages what exactly you are going to involve in the real-time pipeline. Okay. Stage number 1 is going to get the code. Stage number 2, build it. Stage number 3, test. Stage number 4, artifact. Stage number 5, Nexus. Stage number 6, deploy. So these are the stages what exactly you are going to write it now. So already if you remember from stage 1 to stage 5, we have seen in the Jenkins class or not, sir? Now what is the only new stage you are going to see here now? Deploy, correct or not? So if you learn that single stage, now your complete project will be done. Okay. So again, I'm explaining step number 1, pushing the code from Git to GitHub. Stage number 2, I'm going to write the stages also here. Okay. Stages. Stage number 1. What is stage number 1? Pushing the code to GitHub. Push code from Git to GitHub. Stage number 2. So generating artifact from Jenkins. Okay. Stage number 3. Storing artifact in Nexus. Stage number 4. Okay. Stage number 4 is what here? Deploy artifact to Tomcat servers. Which servers? Of course, we need to install Tomcat, but I'll explain. See, In interview, if they will ask you how you deployed the web application into the server, means tell them we have first of all take the code from Git to GitHub. From then we generate the artifact from the Jenkins server. We got the var file. That var file we store next in the artifact service. And finally, whatever the artifact we got, we deployed the artifact to the. This is the same exact way you are going to explain in the real time. Same exact way. Okay. So now let's go and check here one by one. I have my entire setup ready with me. I have code in the GitHub. I have my Jenkins and Ansible ready. And I have my worker nodes ready. So the only thing you gonna do is now stage number 1, push the code from Git to GitHub. If you go to my GitHub account here, so go for GitHub DevOps Verham. So it is my account actually. It is the code. Already my developers wrote the code and they pushed to the GitHub. Step number 1 is done. What is my step number 2 here? Generating artifact from. So artifact means build, test, artifact. So these 3 stages I'm gonna write on stage number 2 only. Okay. Or you can write build, test and generate artifact. Anyways. So can you tell me how to generate the artifact from the source code to Jenkins server? Can you tell me the process? Pipeline to generate artifact. All of you know, right? Yes. Now let's go ahead and see. Here if I go ahead and see. So let me copy the public IP address of my Jenkins server and let me connect to the Jenkins itself. Copy the public IP and port number will be 8080. And one more thing guys, instead of public IP address, you can take public DNS also. So this both public IP and for the same purpose. You don't see any difference between public IP and DNS in the real-time aspect. Anyone you can use. So I'm taking a DNS now to show you how DNS work. So now my password will be presenting on varlib Jenkins secret initial admin password. Copy this. I am telling you, the project is gonna be very, very easy for all of you. You don't feel it is project actually. That much of easiness I'm gonna bring you to the session. So now copy this and paste it here. Okay. Click on continue. So now download some plugins. And by the way, how's the Josh on the Saturday? You won the World Cup, right? How's the Amirpet after winning the World Cup? It's like almost it's like a celebrating festival, right? Mm. The entire Hyderabad like that only on the Saturday. And one more thing, this Sunday I have done some work which I just wanna share with all of you. Just remind me, okay? At the end of session, I'll discuss with you at the end of session, okay? What is the freelancing work that I do on this weekend? I'll share with you. Start using Jenkins. Okay. So now here, what exactly I'm gonna do now is, so click on new item. But before that, download the plugin called Stage View. But by default, Jenkins will not have the Stage View plugin. Okay. So go for the plugin. Go for available plugin. There is a plugin called Stage View. Are you seeing this one? Guys, initial version of Jenkins, this plugin will download by default. But the newer version of Jenkins, we are going to download it manually. So this plugin will provide the stage view for each and every work. So now click on new item. I'm gonna get as Netflix project or Netflix pipeline. Go and create. So what is the shortcut for the pipeline? Pass. Tell me the pipeline syntax to generate the artifact. First of all, pipeline agent, any stages, stage number one is always checkout. Checkout means getting nothing but code actual. Okay. Next steps. Now give git and repo URL, guys. The default branch here is gonna be master branch. Okay. And here it is the public repo. So directly I can go and I can give like this. But if it is main branch, I think all of you know how to give the main branch in the pipeline, right? Go and give the pipeline syntax. For example, if I select here git, so it is my git URL and the repository is master, it is public. So if I click on generate pipeline script, this will come. But unfortunately, if your branch is main, if I click on generate pipeline, again the script will change actually. So depends upon what you are configuring, this is gonna change. So always use the sample pipeline step. That's done now. Now stage number one is done. And what is stage number two? Build. Next steps sh mvn compile. Next stage. Next. Uh, uh, okay. That's it. So now if I click on save, now automatically if I click on build now, automatically what will generate now? Artifact will generate. Okay. So you can see the stage viewer is coming, right? Why it is coming means I download the stage view plugin. By default, it will come in the previous version. Yes, by default. But the newer version of Jenkins required manual downloading. Okay. Is it done now? So my step number one is done. Step number two also done. Are the two steps clear for all of you now? Online, can you please confirm me? Are the two steps clear for all of you or not? Clear, great. Now what is step number three? Storing the artifact in Nexus. So I need a Nexus server now. So I think all of you know how to install Nexus, right? First of all, create a server called Nexus. And again, guys, basically it's optional. If you want to do or you can do, otherwise you can ignore this one. But I just want to show you how the real-time end-to-end pipeline works for you. So I'll take one key pair. And for Nexus, what is the thing? Yes, exactly. We need to take T2 medium. I'm gonna take T2 medium here. But because without T2 medium, we are not gonna work with it. So I'll go and I'll connect CD desktop slash keypad. Ansible keypad do I have? Yeah. So port number of Nexus 80. That's it. So now go and copy the script of Nexus. If you go and see, you can see the script of Nexus. Directly you can go and you can use it. But let me connect this in the meanwhile to my Mobax system. What are the types of artifacts we have? Var, jar. What is the path of jar file deployment? Path to deploy the jar files. No. And path to deploy the var file? Already I said in the Saturday class also. Path to deploy the var file. Tomcat web apps. Which one? Guys, you need to fix this on your brain actually, okay? So don't forget them. So in the meanwhile, I'll copy the script of Nexus. Nexus dot sh. So I'm going to run this script actually. So in the meanwhile, if I want to integrate any tool to the Jenkins, what is the first thing I want to do? Correct. What you need to download? Plugin. Why? Because without downloading the plugin, we are not able to integrate any tool with the Jenkins. So go for manage Jenkins. Tell me how to download plugin. Manage Jenkins. Plugins. Available plugins. What is the name of the plugin? Nexus Artifactory Uploader. Install. Now, if you go and check, it is installing the Nexus. And you know how to configure the Nexus to our pipeline, right? Go here. First of all, write the stage of Nexus. What I need to write here? Stage. Here. Nexus. After that, steps. After that, now you don't know how to write the syntax. You are going to use pipeline. Correct. So in the pipeline syntax, I need to type here Nexus Artifactory Uploader. Okay. So what is the Nexus version we're gonna use? 3. And what is the protocol? Nexus URL means we need to give the public IP address and port number of which server? 8081. So credentials. So up to now we haven't set the credentials for our Nexus server. First of all, let me go and let me set the credentials by using this one. And by default, Nexus will take 30 seconds of buffer time. So make sure this one, it is not gonna access initially. Sign in, username will be, and password you can get from this specific location. Okay. The best part is already you know everything. The only thing is connecting the dots. You know, individual part. If we connect everything, that is going to become a project actually. Okay. So new password I'm giving static as Raham123. So disable anonymous access. Finish. Okay. So now I know my password. So click on add Jenkins. I need to give username and password. What is the username of Nexus? Admin. Password is Raham123. Okay. So description, I'm gonna give it as Nexus. Why? Because description provide me the clarity. I'm using this password for which server. Okay. So it is my Nexus credentials. So group ID, artifact ID, everything you can get from pom.xml. Correct. So what is the group ID here? What is the version here? Application version 1.2.2. Correct. Next, repository name. Till now, have you created any repo here? No. How to create repo? Settings, repositories, create. Now here type Maven2 hosted. Repository name is Netflix. Click on create repository. And the other thing you're gonna do is you are going to make this allow redeploy policy. You are going to, if you don't do this one, what will happen? Second time your artifact will not be deployed. Already you know this point, right? So now go and give the repository name as Netflix. Artifacts add. So artifact ID again is gonna be Netflix. Type of the artifact is .var. You need to give. What you need to give? File. Where is your artifact will be present? Inside target, there is artifact called Netflix hyphen 1.2.2.var. So it is my artifactory. Now, if I click on generate pipeline script, automatically you can get the script, copy it and paste it. It is my step number. Step number what? 3. Storing the artifact into. Now let's go and run this pipeline. Is it done now? So already your artifact is on Nexus. So if you go and click on this path will show you the artifact. Already your artifact is downloaded. If you go and see in the download section, is downloading your artifact or not, sir? So like that, my artifact is stored on the Nexus. That means my step number 1 is done and my step number 2 is done. Step number 3 is done. All of these are done. What is step number 1? Step number, push the code from Git to GitHub. Can I mark it? Yes. Step number 2, generating artifact from Jenkins. Can I mark it? Yes. Step number 3. Can I mark it? So now tell me, all of these 3 steps clear for everybody here? Online, can you please confirm me? All of these 3 steps are clear for all of you or not? Can you please confirm in chat box? Correct. It was clear for all of you. That was great to hear. Now, what is the last step here? Deploying the artifact. Now, I want to ask you some question before going for the deployment. As a DevOps engineer, what is our main responsibility? Troubleshooting. Deployment. Which one? Deployment is the first role and responsibility of every DevOps engineer. So make sure this one on your brain. So now here we are going to responsible for deployment. What is the meaning of deployment? Already we discussed. Process of installing the application to the server. Correct or not, sir? Now currently my application is on WAR file format. Application is on this WAR file I want to deploy on my Tomcat servers. So in my worker nodes, do I have Tomcat installed or not, sir? Tell me, do I need to install Tomcat or not? These are my worker nodes. If it is front-end code, you can install Apache. But here it is my WAR file. WAR file means you'll be having front-end code. And so here now you are going to install Tomcat. Now, how to set up the Tomcat? How many servers you are having? 4 servers. Can I go and run the script on 4 these servers? Yes or no? Yes, you can run. But unfortunately, if you try to run the script on these 4 servers, you need to log into servers manually. You need to run them. But if I have 100 servers to install Tomcat, can I use Ansible for it? Yes. Now let's go and install the Tomcat from the playbook itself. What I need to install? Again, what is Tomcat here? It's a web application server. What is the purpose of using Tomcat? To deploy the artifacts. You can deploy WAR file, deploy jar file, you can deploy year file also. Tomcat required dependency of which programming language? Java. Which one? Without Java, will our Tomcat run? No. So these are the prerequisites what you need to recall for the Tomcat installation. Now straightly go and install the Tomcat in the worker node. So it is my Ansible main node. So from this Ansible main node, I'm going to write the playbook called tomcat.yml. What I need to write? So name of the playbook I'm going to get as tomcat.yml. Sir, already I have playbook written on my all setups. If you go to my all setups, in my all setups, you can see something called as tomcat.yml. It is the playbook. It is the playbook what I am using to install the Tomcat. So what I'll be doing, I'll be copying this playbook to my local machine. I'll explain step by step like what I'm going to do. But before that, currently I'm using 9.0.87 for my previous class. But let me check, do I have 9.0.87 now or not? How to check? dlcdn.apache.org. Go for Tomcat. In Tomcat version 9. So current version is 9.0.89 and 9.0. Guys, this will keep changing for every couple of weeks. So make sure this one, I am telling you with 9.0.90 now. But after 2 weeks, if you go and see, that will not work. So try to change the version. Okay, please make sure all of you do the same process. So now I want to replace 87 with 90. Can you sed command? %s/ I want to replace 87 with 90 and use G. G means why? Because whenever you are having multiple values in a same line, you need to use G. Now it got replaced. Now go and check. What is the first step in Tomcat installation? We are going to download the tar file. Host to all. So remember, this is going to be very, very important. It is your real-time activity. I am telling you again. This is what exactly we are going to do in the real time. So please listen carefully while I'm explaining. Host all will indicate I am running this on all servers. So what is the task number one? Downloading Tomcat. Sir, if I want to download a URL by using Playbook, I need to use module called get URL is the module which will download the URLs from internet or local. From this particular URL, I am downloading the Tomcat to my root path. Okay. Second one is untarring the tar file. So if you are having tar file without untarring, how can you get the file, sir? No, command is tar-zx via Apache Tomcat. Step number 2. Step number 1 is downloading the tar file. Step number 2 is untarring the tar file. So you'll get the Tomcat files now. Now step number 3 is renaming the Tomcat. Why? Because see, every time it is very difficult to give the name Apache hyphen Tomcat hyphen 9.0.90. Every time we cannot give this much of lengthy line. So that is the reason I am replacing the Apache Tomcat 9.0.90 line with Tomcat. Now you tell me, instead of using this much of big name, can we simply rename to Tomcat to small name or not, sir? So it will make my work very, very easy. These are the first 3 commands. I mean, like first 3 steps in my Tomcat. What is step number 1? Downloading Tomcat. What is the module I'm using? From this URL, I'm downloading the Tomcat to root folder. Step number 2 is untarring. Here, which module I'm using? What is command module purpose? To execute the plain Linux command. You can use shell, you can use command, or you can use raw. What is step number 3? Renaming the Tomcat. Again, which module I'm using? I am renaming Apache Tomcat 9.0.90 to Tomcat. Why? Because to make it simple. So the first 3 steps clear for all of you now? Online, can you please confirm me the first 3 steps clear for all of you or not? Yep. So it was clear for all of you. That was great to hear. Now step number 4 is installing Java. Which version of Java I'm installing? Again, I'm using here command module. But if you want to use some other module like M module, shell module, anything is fine. You can use anything. But for simplicity, I'm making it as command module. Now here comes the main thing. Now these last 3 steps are going to be very, very important. How many steps? 3. I am going to explain this on very easy format for all of you. So try to listen what I'm going to explain here. Sir, now you are installing the Tomcat in which server? In Ansible main node or like Ansible worker nodes? In worker nodes. This is very clear. Now tell me, whenever you install Tomcat in any of the node, do we need to change Tomcat user.xml or not, sir? Why? Because to give username, password. Second thing is, do we need to delete the line number 21 and 22 in the context.xml or not, sir? That means if I install Tomcat in these nodes, 4 nodes, I need to go to each and every node and I need to delete the lines and I need to add the content. How many times I need to do it? 4 times. Why? Because I have 4 nodes. Instead of log into 4 worker nodes, and instead of changing the content in each and every worker node, what I'll do is in my main server only, I'll change the content. In the main server only, I'll change the content. And whatever the content I change in the main file, I'll copy to the worker nodes. Okay. To explain this one, I'm going to take a small example with a easy process. Just try to listen. For example, you want to go to picnic. All of you want to. Your DevOps for PM batch, of course, which is never going to happen, but assume. Okay. So now whenever if you want to go to picnic, you have 2 options. Option number 1 is prepare your food here. Carry it with you. Option number 1. Option number 2 is go to the vacation place and cook there. Which one you prefer? Option number 1 or 2? 1, 2. How many of you said 2? Hey, tell me, man. I just want to know the answer from you. Or how many of you say 1? Raise your hands. So remaining people, can I assume as two? Okay. Let's check from the online point of view. Everybody two. Four. None of the above. Okay. Fine. Okay. Everybody is going with two from the online point of view. Guys, just a small logic. If you prepare your food here, what you need to carry to the picnic place is simple hot pot. All your food will be on hot pot. Place that hot pot in the car dicky and you can take it to wherever you want. But if you want to cook the food on the destination place, you need to carry the woods, you need to carry the ingredients, you need to carry the big vessels, you need to carry the water, everything you need to carry or not, sir? And after carrying also, if you cook food there, you are going to waste a lot of time. Now you tell me which one is better. If you prepare our food here, it is very easy to carry out. Same concept will be applied to the Ansible playbook also. So in my 4 of my worker nodes, worker node 1, 2, 3, 4. In my 4 of my worker nodes, if I go and manually modify these two files, will take a lot of time for me. For that purpose, in my Ansible main server, I modify the two files and I copy it to the worker node. If I modify on my local and copy to worker node, now do I need to copy them, do I need to modify them on my worker nodes? No. Easy method or not, sir? Again, to copy the files from Ansible main node to worker node, which module we can use? Copy module. Already you know, right? That's it. So what I am trying to convince for all of you is, instead of modifying the two files in worker nodes, modify them on in main node, Ansible main node. If you modify them on the main node and copy it to worker node, so in worker node, you need not to modify any kind of files there. Is the logic clear for all of you? Know? Online, can you please confirm me logic behind the scenes clear for all of you or not? Online, all of you need to respond. I'm getting response from only few people. Okay, try to be alert. Why? Because it's gonna be project what you are going to put on your resume. Okay. So now if I go and see here, this is the thing. So now task number 5 is setting the role in Tomcat user.xml. Of course, in Tomcat user.xml, you are going to add username and password. Okay. So I'm using template module. Template is another module what you can use instead of copy. How exactly you are using copy? In the same way, you can use a template module. Okay. Source, in my local, I create the Tomcat user.xml and I modify the Tomcat user.xml. And what are the Tomcat user.xml I modified here? Copy it to the worker nodes. Let's go and create the Tomcat user.xml here. VM Tomcat user.xml. So already in my repository, what you can do is you can go here and you can set the Tomcat user.xml. Are you seeing this one? Have I added username and password, everything or not, sir? Simply what you can do, copy it. That's it. Now we know Tomcat user got modified. Now can you copy the Tomcat user.xml to your worker nodes or not, sir? Yes. Similarly, in the same way, I'm going to modify the context.xml in my Ansible main server. Already I modified here. I already put the content of modified here. Now go to your node, in your node. So just to give the command context.xml. And one more thing, name will be very important. So while you are giving the name, so please make sure that whatever the name you have given, here the same name need to come here. It is context.xml. So VM context dot XML. That's it. So now tell me, both my Tomcat user.xml and context.xml modified on my local file or not, sir? Like local or not, sir? Now with the help of template module, I am copying to the worker nodes. Now tell me in worker node, do I need to modify it? No. And finally, so to run the Tomcat, we are going to run the script. So here I'm using shell module. Nohop is the command which we are going to use while executing the shell. So in my root Apache Tomcat bin, we have the script called startup. So run this script on the worker nodes. That's it. Your Tomcat installation is completely done. Again, I'll explain one more time for all of you. So please try to listen if you miss on the first part. Here, step number 1 is what, sir? Downloading the which URL I'm using. So to download any URL, we use get URL. So this is a URL, and I'm gonna copy it to like a worker node root path. That means in all of the worker node, the Tomcat is gonna download to which path? Root path. Step number 2, I'm untering the tar file. So this is the command to untar the tar file. So in worker nodes, now the Tomcat tar file is gonna extract. Step number 3 is renaming the Tomcat. It's for my simplicity. Because every time I can't write Apache-Tomcat 9.09, simply I'm gonna write it as Tomcat. Step number 4 is installing. Why I'm installing Java? Dependency. Step number 5 is setting the roles in Tomcat user.xml. So instead of going to worker nodes and modifying them manually, modify Tomcat user.xml on your Ansible main node. And with the help of template module, copy this to the worker nodes. Now in worker node, you need not to modify anything. Similarly, delete the lines on context.xml. In the context.xml, in my Ansible main node, I delete the lines already. You simply copy the context.xml to the worker node this path. And finally, after that, you are going to start the Tomcat. I'm using which module here? With the help of NoHop, in this particular path, I'm gonna run the startup script now. So this is the Tomcat playbook execution. So if I use sh, Tomcat, oh sorry, not sh. If I use Ansible playbook, tomcat.yml. So now automatically this playbook is going to execute and it is going to install Tomcat and all of the 4 worker nodes. See how much time it is taking? Within 15 seconds, your Tomcat is ready. Less than 15 seconds, 10 seconds, I can say. Your Tomcat is ready or not, sir? Even though if you have hundreds of servers, same process. Now tell me, is Ansible really a powerful tool or not? So is the process of installing Tomcat via playbook clear for all of you? Everybody. Online, can you please confirm me, is the Tomcat installation through playbook clear for everyone or not? I would love to get response from everyone in the online. Okay, so it was clear now. So guys, whatever the concept you have done here, the same work you are going to do in the real time the same way without any change. In real time, if somebody asks you to set up Tomcat from playbook, take my script and run it directly. But the only change you want to do is versions. Which one? Correct. So, sir, you are telling that Tomcat is installed on worker node, but how can I verify? How can I trust you? Copy the public IP address, go with port number 8080 for all of the nodes. Let's go and check. First of all, I'll go with dev1. And I'll remove all of them here, which I don't require. Port number what here? You can see Tomcat now here. Is it running? Now go for which server? Dev2. Like each and every server, we're gonna check here. 8080. Similarly, test1. So dev2 is working and test1, 8080. And finally, test1 is also working now and go for test. So now try to log into 4 of these servers. So what is the username for Tomcat? Tomcat only, man. You forgot this one. Username for Tomcat is, and default password we set for everything is Raham123. So your Tomcat is done here. For test2, for test1, I am giving username and password. Done here. And again here also, username is Tomcat, password is 123. And finally, this is Tomcat. And the password is, I can say Raham123. There you go. So now in all of the 4 work nodes, your Tomcat is running or not, sir? That's it. So here though your Tomcat is also running. Now the final step, what exactly you are going to perform is whatever the var file you are generating through the pipeline, this var file you need to deploy to the Tomcat worker nodes. But how you are going to deploy? By writing the playbook again. By writing what? So let's write the playbook to copy the var file from my Ansible main node to. If you do that one, your step number 4 is done and your project will be done. Then later we can discuss the different test cases of the project. Okay. So now tell me, I'll ask you only one question. Can you write playbook on your own or not? The only thing you want to do is whatever the var file your Jenkins is having, this var file need to copy to the worker nodes. Only for that one you need to write the playbook. Can you write or not? You need to write. Why? Because you don't have any other option. I'm not going to teach it. Okay. So just try it yourself. If you're not able to do, I'll help you. Okay. So now tell me, my worker nodes are Tomcat and my main node is on Ansible main node and like Ansible and Jenkins. In my Jenkins node, I have the var file. So what is the path of my var file in my Jenkins node? Tell me the path. Var lib Jenkins workspace. Name of the pipeline is going to be Netflix. And inside target, I'll be having the var file. Correct or not, sir? So the thing is very, very clear. In this particular path, you have the Netflix var file. Now you want to copy the var file to which server? All the worker nodes of Tomcat. That means you know the source and you know the destination. Write a playbook now. What is the playbook here? VIM. Playbook name is deploy.yml. First of all, I need to put here hosts all task. What is the name of the task? I mean like copying the artifact or like deploying the var file. Anything is fine. Deploy var file. Now here you are going to deploy the var file. So your var file is on a Jenkins server. You want to copy it to the Tomcat server. Which module you want to use? Copy module, correct. So whenever you are using copy module, what are the two things you are going to have? Source and destination. SRC. What is the source now? Var lib Jenkins workspace Netflix pipeline target. Here you are going to have the var file call Netflix 1.2.2 dot var. Correct or not, sir? It is the var file what is on your Jenkins server. Now you are going to copy the var file to the Tomcat servers. So now tell me, in Tomcat, what is the path to deploy the application, sir? Tomcat? Correct. But Tomcat is inside the root folder. So just to give slash root. Inside root, you are going to have Tomcat folder. Inside Tomcat, you are going to copy the var file to. That's it. Very simple. Is the playbook clear for all of you? Now tell me, is the playbook very clear for all of you or not, sir? Yes. Online, is the playbook clear for all of you? How I am copying the var file from source to destination? Can you please confirm in chat box, all of you? That's clear. That's it, sir. Now, if you simply execute the playbook, your deployment is done. Let's go and execute the playbook. Tell me the command to execute playbook. Ansible playbook deploy dot. So now let's try to see the Netflix application dashboard. Now, if I go and see my deployment got done within 1 second only. So if I go and see here, currently, are you seeing any of the Netflix application here? But if I click on refresh after deployment, are you seeing Netflix var file here? Is Netflix running on developing one server? Again, click on refresh. Is Netflix working on developing two? Yes. So here again, click on refresh. Is Netflix working on developing 3? And in developing 4? I mean, sorry, so test 1, test 2. Working or not, sir? This is the way how exactly you are going to deploy the application in the real time. What you done? You just wrote a simple playbook. In that playbook, what you are telling, whatever the var file is on Jenkins server, copy the var file to the in a Tomcat. You know the path actually. You know the path of where is your var file and you know the path of where is your deployment need to happen. Simply use copy module. After using copy module, what is the next thing you're gonna do? Use source and destination. Very simple playbook or not, sir? So now tell me, is the deployment clear for all of you? Everybody. Online, can all of you in the meeting, can you please confirm, is the deployment process clear for all of you or not? Yes, it was clear for all of you. That was very, very good to hear. And one more thing, in your real time, this path will change. Why? Because in real time, use custom workspace. I think all of you know how to use custom workspace. This destination will not change, but this source will change. Of course, in practice also, I'm using Netflix pipeline, but if you give ABC, again, this path will change. So don't copy paste this one directly. Just understand the logic behind the scenes. Okay, sir. Now you deployed the application. It was very good to hear. But the only thing you need to have is, have we automated the entire process or not, sir? No. Which process we haven't automated? What is the process which we haven't automated here? We have a process here which we haven't automated. What is that one? Array man, like here, the concept is very easy, sir. From the pipeline, you automate taking the code, you automate the build process, you automate the test, you automate the artifact, you automate the nexus also. But if you want to deploy the application, you are manually logging into the server and manually running the playbook. Is the playbook automated here? Then again, can we call this fully automated project? We cannot call this continuous deployment. Still, it is a continuous delivery. Why? Because I am doing the deployment on manual process by running the playbook manually. Let's make it to the automated process now. So if I want to make it automate, I need to deploy the application from the pipeline only. Now here you are going to integrate both the playbook and pipeline. Sir, how to integrate Ansible with playbook? That is a question. Already you know, if I want to integrate any tool with the Jenkins, what is the first thing I need to have? Plugin download. So in the notes section also, if you go to my notes here, like what exactly I'm going to give for, in the notes also, I clearly mention how to deploy the application from playbook and Ansible. So let me go and give this one. Let me go and show you the process. Here we'll be having now. So if I go here and if I show this one, so it is the thing what you're gonna use. So for scripts and playbook, take this one, and to install the project and repository links, everything I have given here. Now installing Ansible server and to connect to the Jenkins dashboard. So how to integrate Ansible with the Jenkins is the point you need to understand. Step number 1 is to install the, already we know this one, just go and quickly download the plugin here. So click on dashboard, manage Jenkins. What you're going to do here, manage plugins. So in the plugin section, go for available. So type here Ansible. That is the only thing you want to download. And there is one more thing called Ansible Tower, which is the GUI for the Ansible. But lot of the organizations won't use Ansible Tower. Of course, some organization will use, some organization won't use. Okay, it depends upon the work. So click on download. Sure, Bhushan, I'll show you. Don't worry. So now if you go and see, the plugin got downloaded. Now the second thing is when you download the plugin, now we are going to configure the Ansible tool. What we are going to do? See, whenever if you're running any command, that command you need to configure to the Jenkins server. And in Ansible server, are we running Ansible command or not, sir? That Ansible command we are going to configure to Jenkins server. How to configure means, click on manage Jenkins. Now you'll be going to the system. Okay, in the system here, you don't have anything to configure actually. This is If you want to add some environment variables and anything, you can go here. But I don't want to add any kind of environment variable. I want to configure the tools here. So go for tool section. In the tool section, are you seeing Ansible here? Click on add Ansible. What is the name of the tool? Ansible. Path to execute directory. That means I'm going to give it as user bin. Why I'm giving user bin? That is very, very easy. All of you are going for Linux classes, right? Like is the concept of Linux directory system or file hierarchy system clear for all of you? What is the path where you are going to store Linux commands in the file hierarchy system? No, the question is very, very clear. If you are executing touch command, where is that touch command going to store in the Linux directory system? User combine. User bin. Guys, all the Linux commands which you are going to execute are going to store on user bin. Let me show you. It is a part of Linux class, but I'm just telling with the clarity. If I go to ls/user bin, whatever the commands you are executing in the Linux server, everything will come from this path only. For example, if I go and see mb is a Linux command or not, sir? Which path? User bin. Or if I go to Linux command, which path? User bin. So if I scroll up here, vi, which path? User bin. ls is a Linux command. Login is a Linux command. Okay. Touch is a Linux command. Kill is a Linux command. Everything, whatever the complete Linux commands you are executing on the Linux server will be coming on which path, sir? So make sure this one, every command you are executing in Linux will come from user bin only. Similarly, like that, my Ansible command is also on user bin path or not, sir? So I need to tell to my Jenkins server whenever I execute the Ansible commands from the Ansible tool, take the command from user bin folder like that. So click on save. The same thing I have given to the nodes also. Okay. Manage Jenkins tool Ansible name will be Ansible and path to execute the executable will means here you need to give user. Step number 2 is done. Step number 1 is downloading the plugin. Step number 2 is configuring the tool. Now step number 3 is configuring the sample step. So it is very easy now. Now go to the pipeline point of view. In the pipeline, now add the last stage deployment here. So click on configure. Now last stage is going to be deploy. So just to give here stage, I'm going to give it a stage deploy. Inside stage, I'm going to run here steps. So now here what exactly I'm going to do is I don't know how to configure Ansible playbook here. So I use sample step. So in sample step, which one I need to select now? Ansible playbook. Why? Because my deployment is on playbook only. I need to configure that one. What is the tool you are using now? Ansible. Now do one thing. Currently, where is your deploy.yml located in your server? In which path it is located? Deploy.yml is on which path? Move this deploy.yml to etc Ansible folder. The reason why I'm moving this one means there is a theory actual. Let me tell you. In the etc Ansible, go and see here. Currently, where is your Ansible configuration file? In the etc Ansible. Where is your Ansible deployment here? etc Ansible. And where is your host here? That means if you put all the important files on your Ansible in the single place, is it becoming very easy to configure or not, sir? Due to that person IP. Okay. Or otherwise you can place it on root path. That is also completely fine. But the reason why I'm placing this on Ansible folder is if I put all the important configuration of my Ansible files, it will become very easy to manage and it will become very easy to configure. Now, if we go to the Ansible configuration section, playbook path in the workspace. Your playbook is on which class? etc Ansible. Name of the playbook will be deploy.yml. And inventory path in workspace. Where is your inventory? etc Ansible. Now it is very easy for me to configure like this or not, sir? That is the only reason why I moved, or otherwise you can keep it on root path also. Now coming to SSH connection here, click on add, click on Jenkins. So username with password. So guys, my username will be root and password will be Raham123. Here, which password you are going to give? That is the one thing you need to understand. Okay. Let me explain you which password here you are going to give. While copying the keys from Ansible main node to worker node, you are using the password, right? Please give the password. Don't give Tomcat password. Lot of people are going to mistake here. Okay. While initially you are setting up the server, you will be having the keys. That keys you are copying from which user? Root user. And you are going to use some password XYZ. Give that password. Don't give any other password. Click on add. Now it is my credentials here. Now, so use here root. Fine. So next come to all of this one and give the command disable host SSH key checks. You can use tags to skip it off. You can use host subnet. That means to execute on which server you can add anything. But for simplicity, I'm removing all of them and using the disable host SSH key check. Click on generate pipeline script. Copy this one now. Again, I'll explain. My tool name will be Ansible. It is a path of my playbook to deploy the application. It is a path of my inventory file, and I'm using credentials that which I use it to copy the keys from Ansible main node to worker node. Finally, I am disabling the SH keys check. Now, if I copy and if I paste it, now automatically my application will be deployed from the pipeline. How it can be deployed? Pipeline. Let me go and show you the example here. For example, if we come back, what is the current version you are seeing now? 8. Let me go and change it to version 9 now. Let me go to my code. In my code, what I am trying to do is I'll try to change the version number 8 to version number 9. Let's go and check whether it is deploying the new code or not. Let me click on edit. Here instead of version 8, what I'm going to put now version 9. Is it changing now here? Commit the code. Now, as a DevOps engineer, once your developer said the code has been modified, come to here and click on build now. That's it. Automatically new code will come. Now, entire deployment process is automated with the help of pipeline concept itself. Is the application deployed? Let's go and check. Click on refresh. Okay. What is the version you are seeing now? 9, right? Here also 9. Here also 9, and here also 9. Now, are you able to see the new release of the application or not, sir? Like this. Similarly, if again my developer change the code from version 9 to version 10, now as a DevOps engineer, everything is configured. I'm going to tell you what is my work actually. Once initially, if I work hard to set up my pipeline, I'll work only one time. Second time, I won't work very hard. Once I set up pipeline like this, if developer asks me to do the deployment, the only thing is click on. That is my work actually. That is what you do. Once if you work very hard to write the pipeline, now everything is automated. You can see is automating happening or not, sir? Yes. Is the application deployed or not? There you go. Now tell me, is the deployment process very easy for all of you or not, sir? Is it easy or difficult? Easy. Online, what about you guys? Is the deployment process easy for all of you or difficult? Can you please confirm me? It was easy. Okay. Correct. So this is the high level overview about the project. So now, before going for doubts and queries, tell me how you felt about the project first of all. What's your expectation before the project and what's the reality after your project? You expect project to be difficult or easy initially? Difficult. But now it is? Why it is very easy? Why? Because here in the diagram, I mentioned everything step by step. You know all of the dots. Step number 1, you know, step number 2, you know, step number 3, you know, which I teach individually. Now, if I combine all of the dots, it become very easy. What is the only step here we learned newly here? Step number 4, that is deployment. Correct or not, sir? That's it. Fine. So now here, guys, the only thing you need to understand is in real-time aspect, before doing the deployment, what we need to do, what we need to provide. Before deployment stage, what is the best practice in real time? Manual approval. Which one? Manual approval can be done by using which concept? Input parameter. Which parameter? Let's go and configure input parameter also. So tell me how to configure input parameter inside the deployment stage. Input. Now message. Like all parameters correct, or like is everything correct? Is everything correct? Here I can write whatever I want. It doesn't matter actually. So now I click on OK. Yes. So now let's try to deploy the application one more time. Click on build now. Is it gonna stop it or not, sir? No? Definitely it will stop it. Is stopping now? So if every parameter is correct, what I'm gonna click? If something is not correct, what I'll click now? About. Click yes. It is the best practice of the pipeline. Okay. So this is how the pipelines are going to automate your work in the real time. That's it. So for today, this concept is enough. Again, there are some use cases of the project which we are going to discuss on tomorrow's class. Basically, we can discuss now and we can finish it off, but I don't want to discuss like this. Let's take some additional time to work on the project for more additional use cases. Okay. If you practice this concept today, tomorrow we can learn a lot of stuff actually. But if I want to teach you that stuff, you need to perfect with the project by tomorrow class itself. Basically, we can finish right now everything, but I don't want to make that mess. Let's go slowly. Let's understand the deeper knowledge into the subject actually. That's it. So now it's time for your doubts and queries. If you are having any queries over the project, you can go and you can ask now. Online, you can raise your hands. I'm gonna give unmute option for you, and offline, you can ask your doubts and queries over the project. Freelancing project, I'll explain Manikanta, don't worry. But before that, your doubts are very, very important for me. If your doubts is done, I'll explain what is the freelancing project that I done in this Sunday. Sir, how to create servers using Ansible? Rajesh, we have that concept in tomorrow's session. Okay. Basically, I can finish right now, but I don't want to make it today. Okay. Tomorrow I'll explain. You have the code also right now here. If you can go and see in these notes, I have given the code to create Ansible server, but I don't explain now. I'll explain tomorrow's concept. I can finish it off, but I don't want to know. Yep. Have I said about the Blue Ocean plugin? Blue Ocean. No, right? Currently, you are seeing Jenkins dashboard. This is what I can call as classic dashboard. Which one? But apart from classic dashboard, we can use the enhanced mode of Jenkins user interface with the help of the Blue Ocean. Let me go and show you. Download the plugin called Blue Ocean. It is going to be amazing actually. So click on Manage Jenkins. Click on Plugins. In the plugin section, go and type Blue Ocean. Basically, a lot of people like a lot of people in the real time don't know about this plugin, but it is gonna be one of the amazing plugin what I can say. Why? Because you will see the output now. If I go back here, currently are in the blue ocean view. Click on this one. Now your pipelines are gonna be come in the different structure, which is very very good to see actually. These are the pipelines actually. It is my pipeline. If I click on here, if I want to execute my pipeline, click on run. Now if I go inside the pipeline, are you seeing each and stage every by individually running or not, sir? If you wanna check what is happening in the test, go here and click on the logs. Are you seeing testing logs here? Or if I want to see what is happening in the artifact, go here and check on the logs. And the best part is you can download these logs and send to developers also. Whenever if a stage got failed, build or testing, in real time, they are going to ask you, send me the logs. So in that case, if you click on this one download, automatically you can get the logs and you can send to developers actually. This way we can work very, very efficiently. And you can see in the deployment, if I click on this one, is it approving for manual approval or not, sir? Click on yes. So like this, you can be able to use the Blue Ocean plugin. Which one? Blue Ocean plugin. You can check what are the artifacts you have. Are you seeing the artifacts here? Pipeline.log. You can check whatever the output from the Blue Ocean plugin. It's going to be very, very enhanced mode. Okay. Again, if we come back to the pipeline, it is the pipeline actually. Let me click on refresh. If I click on refresh, now the pipeline got deployed. And in the same way, here if you want, you can create pipelines also. If I click on settings option, in the settings, if you want to do any modification, you can modify like this. Okay. Everything, whatever you can do from the classic dashboard, you can do it from the Blue Ocean. But the best part about the Blue Ocean is it is very, very good to configure and very, very good user interface. Again, if I come to Blue Ocean, so in Blue Ocean, if I want to create a new pipeline, how it will look like? See, click on new pipeline. You are going to get source code from GitHub. So you can connect a GitHub token from here. So if I click on connect, I need to provide token. Let me show you. So if I go to my GitHub here, let me give a token actually. Basically, it's not a part of your syllabus like how to configure the Blue Ocean, but I'll teach you. Okay. So go for settings, developer settings. I'm using the same token. Of course, you can take new token also. If I give this token to here, what happened, automatically my Blue Ocean will be listing out all the repositories of my account. So if I select DevOps Berham, are you seeing all the repositories here? Now I want Jenkins Java project. If I click on this, if I click on create pipeline, automatically pipeline will be created. See? So creating the pipeline now, how easy it is, sir? Easy or not? Just see how it is creating the pipeline. So it is the enhanced version of the Jenkins user interface. But a lot of the organizations won't know about Blue Ocean. But if you work on the Blue Ocean, it will provide very, very advanced options and it can automate your work even betterly. Okay. You can see the pipeline. Okay. So loading 28 repositories. So create pipeline. So the pipeline is on the background process. Okay. It will take some time to create the pipeline. And again, you need to provide the requirement for it. But again, it's not that much of required. But I just want to show you how this will work for you. Again, go back to classic. If you click on go back to classic, again, you'll be coming to the classic dashboard. Okay. If we go and see, is the pipeline automatically created or not, sir? But again, we need to provide the configuration. That's completely fine. But it is the way how exactly you are going to use the Blue Ocean. But again, it is not mandatory to use Blue Ocean. It's optional one for you. That's it. So is the Blue Ocean clear for all of you? What is the primary advantage of Blue Ocean? To change the user interface? Okay, and to do more automation, you can use Blue Ocean. Online, is the Blue Ocean clear for all of you? Can you please confirm in chat box? Clear. So doubts from your end in the project? I'm expecting at least 10 to 20 doubts, but 0 doubts today. I don't know why. Okay. So let me tell you the activity what I have done in this Sunday actually. So basically, one guy approached me. Like he approached me from the previous student. There is a previous student from my batch actually. So she has given my contact to him. So he approached me. What is the work? I'm not gonna disclose the company name and client name, but I'll tell you what is the work actually. The work is that they created the infrastructure on AWS manually, like servers, VPCs, bucket, everything. Of course, you don't know what is VPC and everything, but they create infra manually on the AWS. Now they want to make the infra creation automation and they want to migrate to Terraform actually. Okay. So what happened unfortunately is this guy who approached me has put some fake experience. He put the experience of 2.5 years and he got the package of 11 or 12. I'm not sure. Okay. He got some good package. During the time of interview, the person who is giving the proxy, he tell that I'm Terraform expert. He was the person. Okay. And the other person who is doing proxy has tell that I was Terraform expert. Now what companies will expect? Companies will expect that the person who is giving the interview is Terraform expert. Okay. So they have hired him, and after hiring, they have given the task actually. The task is to migrate the infrastructure what they're managing manually to Terraform itself. So initially he tried the task. He gone for some other support persons. It took structure. How many months? But again, after 7 months, they got result output only. Bad output. There is no after wasting 7 months now, companies putting more pressure on him. Why? Because for a single task, 7 months is very. Then what he approached. Then I said that I said no, like today, I posted. I would accept generally, but this time he. Okay, fine. So I think Anil, you are able to hear me now. I hope so. Okay. So basically, like it was happened actually. So they took 7 months to migrate the infrastructure, but whereas I have seen the infra and I got the concept actually, like what they're trying to do is they need to export both configuration in the state file as well as code. Of course, we don't know what is that. We are going to discuss in Terraform classes. It's completely fine. So after that, I have taken the laptop from him. So initially it took 1 hour for me to understand what is the architecture. But because without understanding the architecture, you cannot do anything in the real time. So after taking 1 hour to understand architecture, it took me exactly 3 hours to migrate everything. How many hours? 3 hours. After migrating the infra, so we have 4 environments. Dev environment is there, UAT, staging, and prod. So for one infra, I have took only 3 hours. So if you combine rest of them, like how many total hours will take? 4 3s, the automatically value will be 12 hours. So unfortunately here, what is the irony thing is here, whatever the import that I have done, same kind of work, what I have done in the freelancing, the same work I am teaching to the people in the classes here. That means if he took the course actually, he don't need to take any kind of support. Now you need to understand one thing, whatever the real time is expecting from you, you are learning from here itself. If I give the project to any of the students from my previous batch, anybody will do it. That's for damn sure. Why? Because same kind of project that I have taught them in the session itself. Okay. The reason why I'm sharing this example with you is just want to make sure one thing. In real time, even though if you put any kind of support, even though if you put any kind of experience, no need to go for support. Why? Because whatever the real time is expecting from you, the companies are expecting from you, same thing I'm teaching you here. Okay. Even though if you put 3 to 4 years of experience, if you are perfect in these classes, if you are perfect in these classes, what are the projects? What are the assignments? What are the daily activities that I'm giving? If you do them after putting some years of experience, you don't need to go for any kind of support and everything. You can do your own work. But again, that depends upon how exactly you are receiving the classes. Since from the day one, I'm telling you only one thing. This is for complete 3 to 4 years of experience. Of course, if fresher will learn it, that will be very much high for them. Okay. Same thing I'm telling you now also. Okay. So don't worry about your job and everything. First of all, put your focus on the current classes. If you are good with the classes, then the real time work will become very easy for you to do. That is the one thing just I want to convey for you. So start practicing everything from point to point. That's it. How much you charge it, sir? Confidential. Okay, there is nothing to confidential to hide this one. Basically, I'll tell you an overview. If somebody asks you to approach for a single task, charge them at least 10 to 20,000. Depends upon your task and like the amount of time you are going to put. Give me a second. Yep. So this is the way like how exactly you are going to work in the real time, and the amount that I charge it is 20,000 for the task. Basically, I can charge more, but after hearing the sad news from him, so I said that okay, it's fine. And the best part is after that I done work, I have to teach him like how to do this work. Why? Because next time if somebody ask him to do the work, he need not to come to me. He need to learn from me actually. He's paying amount for me, right? So justice need to be done in the both ways. I receive the amount and I teach him well what exactly need to be done. Okay. So remember, whenever if you are getting any kind of task like this, if you can do it, just accept them. You might learn something new from it. Okay. And don't worry, what are the freelancing project that I have done in my career, the same kind of activities that I'm gonna show in the classes also. Okay. That's it. Sir, can you please send today's class recording after the class? So for recordings, you need to contact admin. Why? Because I don't have any access for the recordings. So already I said in the initial days. Fine. In which company you're working? So again, it is confidential, Satya. Okay. Something I need to keep confidential. So everything I cannot expose. So still any queries? But one thing I can tell you is in my career, Majorly, I worked on startups. I haven't worked on MNCs majorly. Only one MNC I worked for. Why? Because what is my personal opinion is if you work in startup for 2 years or if you work in MNC for 5 years, both will be having same knowledge. I can bet you on this. Why? Because there is one of my cousin actually who is working from 4 years in the same DevOps field. But trust me, he don't know how to write any pipeline. He don't know how to write any Ansible playbook, but still is working as a DevOps engineer. So I will recommend you to choose startups. Of course, first job is not on our hands. Whatever you get, go and just join. But after getting some X years of experience, I will recommend you to go to startups and work. Why? Because if you work on startups, your knowledge will be at peak stage. I'm telling you, na? Why? Because if you go for startup, everything you need to build from your own hands on. Even in my, like, even in the companies where I worked for, the complete infra setup done by me, complete pipelines I wrote for myself, and complete playbooks, complete manifest files, complete infrastructure I built with my own hands on. That is the reason you are going to work in startups. I will strongly recommend for everyone. Okay. If you have a chance to select between MNC and startup, choose startup, not MNC. Why? Because if you work on startup for 2 to 3 years, if you go for MNC, your package will be very high. I can say it as 5 for Srivani and Vikram. Yes, sir. After this, I will concentrate on startups only. I mean, like, if you have a chance, then only go. Or like, if you get some MNC, don't ignore that for only startups. Okay. First job is not on our hands. I'm telling you. Second job is going to be startup, as per my suggestion. Okay, then. So let's meet on tomorrow's session with some new topic. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, online.